Hello everybody, Sorbit here and welcome back to another mathematics past paper practice video. In this video we'll be tackling some vectors questions, so let's head straight into the question. So this first question says, we have the vector PQ is equal to 5, negative 4, and if P is a point negative 2, 3, determine the coordinates of Q. So in this case, we want to find what will be the coordinates of Q. So we know the vector PQ is equal to 5, negative 4, and we know the point P is equal to negative 2, 3. So we can say the vector OP from the origin to P is equal to, we just turn this into a column vector, negative 2, 3. So we have the vector OP, we have the vector PQ. So if you want to find the coordinates for Q, we can simply we need to find the vector OQ, which will be from the origin to Q, which will also give us the coordinates. So we can say the vector OQ would be equal to, so remember we start from the point O, and we must end off with Q, so we can say the vector OQ is equal to OP plus, and since we stop at P, we must continue to P and end off at Q. So we can say plus PQ. And this will give us the vector OQ. So OP is equal to negative 2, 3 plus PQ, which they gave us earlier, is equal to 5, negative 4. So we add this together, we will get negative 2 plus 5 and 3 plus negative 4. So this will give us negative 2 plus 5, that will end up giving us a positive 3. And 3 plus negative 4, so this is like you have 3 minus 4, would give us a negative 1. So OQ is equal to 3, negative 1. So we can say the coordinates of Q. So the coordinates of Q would be equal to, you can just turn this into coordinates, this would be 3, 1. And that is how we answer this question. So the next question says, in the pentagon OABCD, OA is parallel to DC and AB is parallel to OD. OD is equal to 2AB and OA is equal to 2DC. Vector OA is equal to A and vector AB is equal to B. So that's basically explain everything that's going on in this diagram. So the question says, find in terms of A and B in its simplest form, AD. So you want to find AD, so we want to find a vector that will take us from A to D. To get from A to D, we can say AD, the vector AD is equal to, so we can travel from A to O, plus, and then we can move from O, and we can go to D. So let's put in those vectors. So do we know the vector AO? We do know the vector OA. You know the vector OA is equal to A. So if you want to find AO, which is in reverse, this will simply be equal to negative A. So we can say AO is equal to negative A plus, and let's see, OD. What did they tell us about OD? They said OD is equal to 2AB. So 2 times AB is equal to AD. So if here is B, we know this is equal to 2B because it's 2 times that. So OD is equal to 2B. So OD is equal to 2B. So we have negative A plus 2B. We can shift this one and write it as 2B minus A. So AD is equal to 2B minus A. All right, using the information that we have on the diagram. So one thing we need to be careful, remember A is going to B. So they told us AB is equal to B. So that means OD would be equal to 2B. Just need to be careful with that. So let's move on to the next question. So let me just write in what we found just now. We found here to be 2B minus A, 2B minus A. So let's see, they want to find in terms of A and B in its simplest form, BC. So we want to find the vector BC. So we move from B and we go into C. So in order to move from B to C, we see we can move from B to D and then from D to C. So we can say the vector BC is equal to B to D plus D to C. So do we know the vector BD? We don't know the vector BD. So we can say BD, you can write this back, plus do we know the vector DC? they told us some information about DC at the top here. They said that OA is equal to 2DC. So if OA is equal to A, and this is 2 times whatever is here, we can say DC would be half of what is here. So we can say DC is equal to half A. Now, do we know the vector BD? No, we don't know the vector BD, but what we do know, we can move from B to A and then from A to D. So we can say BD would be equal to, so we can work out what BD is. So let's work out what BD is. So we know BD would be B to A plus A to D. B to A and then from A to D to get this vector here. So sometimes you'll have to travel along another path to get a vector. So we know BA would be equal to, so we know AB is equal to B. So we know BA would be equal to, we're going in reverse, so it would be at negative B. So we know AD, we know AD is equal to this thing that we found earlier. So this would be 2B minus A. So we can simplify this to negative B plus 2B would simply be equal to B minus A. So this here is what we put in for BD. So instead of BD, we'll have B minus A plus half A. So this will be equal to B. So negative A plus half A would simply be, so yeah, this is like if you have negative 1 plus a half, this would simply be equal to a negative half. So B minus 1 over 2A. So this would be the answer for BC. So BC is equal to B minus half A. So we had to do some work, and I'm sure this question probably was worth 3 marks. So you had to do some work for these kind of questions. So let's go into the last one. So next one says, state the conclusion about AD and BC that can be drawn from your responses in 1 and 2. So we found AD to be 2B minus A. We found BC to be B minus half A. So we have AD is equal to 2B minus A and BC is equal to B minus half A. So it says state the conclusion about AD that can be drawn from your responses. So if we look at AD and we look at BC, if we multiply BC by 2BC, we will get 2B minus A. So 2BC is equal to AD. If we multiply BC by 2, we will get what is here. So we can say one of these vectors is a scalar multiple of the other, and because they are a scalar multiple of the other, we can conclude that the vector AD and the vector BC are parallel. So AD and BC are parallel because, we can say because, since they give us a lot of lines, because 2BC is equal to AD. So one vector is a scalar multiple of the other, so we can conclude that the 2 vectors are parallel, and that is how you get the marks here. So with that, this has brought me to the end of this video in which I tackled some key concepts on vectors. So I want you to use these key concepts and keep practicing more on vectors. So with that, I'll see you in the next video in which I'll be tackling some more questions. Until then, keep practicing.